So the trick is raise your quality and your quantity will follow. Stop being a Toyota, start being a Ferrari.
Dr. Sri, how do sorry, how how are you positive all the time? What is this secret of yours?
Well, I have a question that I always ask one of my colleagues who works with me because the corporate people have a different approach to life than we do in networking. So we have this colleague who I have always asked the same question. How is it that you are so constantly negative all the time? How do you live in the world? And he prides himself. He actually says, what does he say? His tagline? His famous tagline is trust no one. And my tagline is trust everyone. So when you love yourself, when you love what you do, when love drives you and you're surrounded with love, why would you not be positive? So the key, my friend, is to love. As I said yesterday, and let me repeat this point to you one more time. Get up in the morning and feel blessed. Every morning as you open your eyes, feel blessed. Because you should be opening your eyes to your ceiling. If you're opening your eyes and you don't recognize the ceiling, then you're in trouble. Because this is now pandemic, so you can't be in a hotel either. So if you're not in a hotel, you're in a hospital. And if you're looking at a ceiling that you don't recognize, then you are basically stuck to that ceiling. That is not a place you want to be. There's a movie, actually, very interesting one, that actually won a short film festival. The movie basically starts. Everyone comes into the theater, they're sitting down, and the movie starts with a picture of the ceiling. Nothing but just a ceiling. And then after a minute, the ceiling continues. 3 minutes, people are talking to each other. What a useless movie this is. Why are we looking at the ceiling? There's nothing happening. We're getting bored. 5 minutes, and people are wanting to leave the theater. They're already getting up saying, why am I looking at the ceiling for 5 minutes? 9 minutes later, the picture moves from the ceiling down, and you see the rest of the view, so to speak. And it's a hospital bed. And basically, the words start to scroll across this movie, and it says, simply put, there's this young man who's paralyzed from neck down. And he has been looking at that ceiling now for 9 months. You can't even bear to look at it for 9 minutes. Be grateful. Be grateful for where you are. So, in a nutshell, to answer this question, when we get up every morning and we recognize your own ceiling, you are blessed already. You get up in the morning and your family is around you, you are blessed. You have a roof on your head, your family is around you, and they are well, you are blessed. And when your body is functioning, you are again blessed. You are getting blessing after blessing after blessing. How can you possibly be negative? you can only be positive and you can only charge on ahead. Getting up every morning with gratitude is the key.
And Dr. Sri, I have a deep feeling I won't achieve in this business. I won't achieve success in this business. Although I work very hard. What is the problem, in your opinion?
He says, I won't achieve success in this business because I have worked very hard. Exactly right. You're working hard. So if you're working hard, you have already gone past, you have gone past loving what you do. It has become work for you. And if it's work for you, then like everyone else who's working hard across the world, the only thing awaiting you is misery. If you're working hard, you want to retire. Your goal in life is, I must retire. I'm waiting to retire. I cannot wait to retire. Everyone who works hard wants to retire. But if you love what you do, why would you retire? So basically, here I am. I started off with the intention of retiring, and that was 22 years ago. I said to myself, I made a promise to my wife, I said, let us do this for 5 years, maximum. Initially, I said, we do it for 2 years. We extended for 5 years. And then at some point, my wife turned around and asked me, she said, and this is like almost 10 years later, she said, don't you remember we said we would retire when we were 5 years old? And I looked at her and I said, retire? We're having too much fun. Why would you retire? So the answer to that question is very simple. Love what you do. Love what you do every day. And you will never have to look back. And you never have to work hard.
Dr. Sri, you wrote a book,
Yeah, I remember.
something about silence.
Something,
you know,
something silent, yes.
And you talk about it a lot, and we, over the years, we have, I know you have, from your heart, sincerely shared these teachings, and yet many people find it so difficult to actually follow the process. Oh, what's your advice? Are there any shortcuts?
If you're looking for a shortcut, then again, that's a problem, isn't it? Basically put, right now, if you are truly enjoying what you do and love what you do, then you don't look for shortcuts. You look for the long cut. You want to do it for as long as you possibly can. I mean, right now, David, you are a classic example. Now, when I met you, you were in that state of mind where you were thinking retirement already. You kind of thinking that, okay, I'm on my last stretch. But right now, you're saying, give me another 10 years, give me another 20 years, I'll do this. Don't you agree?
Yes, Dr. Sri.
And why is that? What has changed? The only thing that has changed is simply this. You love what you do.
Yes, Dr. Sri, exactly.
So, in a nutshell, it is about changing this mindset. And what drives that love for what you do? Gratitude. I mean, in this pandemic outside, in the outside world, it is dramatic, it is drastic, it is devastating. Nothing like this has happened in 100 years. But for those of us who are safe right now, and for those of us who are here right now, the fact that you are alive today is the greatest gift you can have. Every single day that you're alive is the greatest gift that you can have. So here's the question. Someone coming to me and saying, I want a shortcut. Why would they not say, Give me a shortcut to death. Give me a shortcut to death. Nobody wants a shortcut to death.
No, no.
You want to take the longest cut possible to death, the longest journey possible to death. Yes? Now, in order for you to love what you do and be grateful for every single day, the first thing you have to remember is you are here for a greater purpose. And when you identify the fact that you will grow as you find this purpose, because this purpose finds you eventually, and you serve, you love, and you give. And eventually, that purpose finds you. And when that purpose finds you, you are driven. And you become a source of energy. When you walk into the room, there's fire.
I got attracted to, even before I wrote the book, you used to talk to me about the practice. And because I was in 1 minute from the abyss, not 2 minutes from the abyss, and I sort of was in this major crisis that this was the lifeboat that was thrown to me. But most people are in what you always call the comfort zone. So probably that's why they're looking for shortcuts.
There's nothing in life that is worth a shortcut, that is of any value. If something has value, you don't want shortcuts. Your children that you love, you don't want a shortcut. You want to keep them with you for as long as possible because you love them. So you're looking for the longest cut possible, not a shortcut. So everything in life that you acquire through difficulty, through daring, through determination, whatever that is a long cut. When you acquire it through a long cut, you will fight to keep it. But when it comes to you easily, you will lose it easily. Which is why I said earlier to them, I pity those that become successful too fast in this business. Because when it comes to them too fast, then they don't know the value of what they have. And when they don't know the value of what they have, and they don't know how they got there, when they're not able to appreciate how they got there, then the problem is they will lose it as fast as they get it. It is far better, far better to take the long cut to success, to do it with discipline, to do it with determination, to do it with daring, with drive, to do it with dedication. And when you get there, you will fight to keep it.
तो सूती अब तो रात हो गया तो सूते के टाइम
So
है
very true.
ताऊ क्या
And you find the purpose.
Absolutely.
तब तो सूते के टाइम है
At this point, I'd like to take a moment to talk about something, which is simply, there is something called the art of learning. Just like the art of war by Sun Tzu, there is something called the art of learning, which I have talked about almost every week on. Written by a gentleman called Chanakya 1,000 years ago. But what's more important is the beauty and simplicity of what it says. Before you learn something, you start with discrimination. You choose carefully, discriminate carefully the path you want to take. Whatever path you want to take, choose it carefully. That is called viveka or discrimination. Then you come to research and analysis, part 2. In research and analysis, you study as much as possible about the path that you want to take. Once you have chosen the path, you study as much as possible. You become the path. You analyze it, and you learn to love what you do. Truly, the most important thing. You will then reach the final stage, which is simply called Vairagya. Vairagya simply means when you have perfected something to the point that you have excelled in it, then you perform beyond all expectation. So, which leads me to another video. This one is about, it might look like someone you know, don't worry about that, the long hair and everything, but this person really embodies that spirit of charisma that shows that when you keep on practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing, then when you perform, you are in a class by your own. You simply excel. You control the stage. You actually shine. So that the actual performance, which in this case is a dance, is excelled by his interpretation, his energy, his fire, his passion. So I give you this amazing, amazing man who has practiced the art of learning. So let's take a minute to appreciate this. It doesn't matter the music, it doesn't matter anything else, but his energy carried across. And that energy, that passion is what it's all about. So when you go through the 4 stages of the art of learning, you get to that level where your charisma captures you. Where you go on stage and do whatever you have to do, and you command. And that comes from within you. But first, you have to simply love what you do. There is absolutely no escape from that process. Instantly, hard work becomes joy. If you take a look at the greatest performers in the world, the greatest leaders in the world, they all were totally caught up with whatever they did. Picasso used to basically lock himself into his room for days at a time without food and water in order to paint and complete his painting. Because that was what completely absorbed him. Was that hard work? No, that was for him pure joy. Beethoven was deaf when he wrote some of his finest music, his most amazing music, which he couldn't hear. So what drove him? Again, it was that state of being. He was in love what he did. So whether you take an artist or a composer, musician, whatever field that he or she is in, It is about loving what you do. So, love, as I explained it to you today, is not just about loving each other, because that is a key. Loving each other builds teamwork. But to love what you do beyond all expectation, having no need or desire for any kind of return, that is the true key to success. Will you fail? Say, get up again, get up again, get up again. Are you with me? Are you with me? Are you with me? Get up again. Get up again. Get up again. Are you with me? Thank you very much.
Unbelievable! Dato Sri